Stepwise methane to methanol conversion effects of copper loading on the formation of active species in copper exchange mordenite. Methane is a primary component of natural gas and known as a major greenhouse gas, which is significantly more potent than carbon dioxide. Because of the abundance and the difficulty to storage of methane, flaring is a practice in which natural gas is burned by oil and gas company, and this causes a climate change. To reduce a harmful methane emission and greenhouse gas emitted by flaring in the refining process, conversion to other chemical product is one of the promising methods. Because of the potential product of methanol, this work focuses on the conversion to methanol. However, the challenge is about the over-oxidation of methanol to carbon dioxide because of the more active of methanol, so the active and selective catalyst is required, and copper exchange zeolite is focused on in this work because it is a potential catalyst. Another challenge is the developing the understanding of copper cluster formation in zeolite pore, which is still under debate. There are various active copper clusters were reported, such as dicopper, tricopper, tetracopper, and pentacopper. The formation of these clusters are dependent on the topology of zeolite, which probably relating to the silicon-aluminum ratio, the distribution of aluminum in zeolite structure, and the size of the cage, the channel, or the pore. The contents of copper cation exchange with the cation in the zeolite pore is also one of the influences to be concerned. However, it is still not clear which cluster perform actively and selectively towards the methane oxidation to methanol. Therefore, in this work, we investigate the influence of the silicon-aluminum ratio, copper contents, and the sample preparation. We also propose the possible reaction mechanism. In this study, mordenite with two different silicon-aluminum ratio of 6.5 and 10 were used to study the influence of silicon-aluminum ratio, and two sample preparation method of ion exchange and impregnation were employed, and to obtain the different copper content in zeolite, ion exchange time was varied for 12 and 24 hours. And for a higher copper loading, 2 and 3 times of copper ion exchange were performed 24 hours at a time. After obtaining the sample, the reaction test was performed by following these 3 steps, including sample activation in oxygen flow, sample reaction with methane, and methanol desorption by water stain. After that, the selected sample was characterized by spectroscopic tools. The activity results show that the best sample for methane oxidation to methanol found in this study is the sample that was prepared by using mordenite with silicon-aluminum ratio of 6.5, prepared by copper ion exchange because copper is well dispersed in zeolite, and with the copper-aluminum ratio of 0.25. And these 3 samples were further characterized by using the spectroscopic tools to explain the formation of active copper cluster. This diagram shows the correlation between the square copper-aluminum ratio and the methanol yields, and our UV results suggest that the polynuclear copper clusters are predominant in the sample with higher copper contents, whereas the isolated copper-2 cation is predominant in the sample with lower copper contents. In this case, its copper-aluminum ratio less than 0.25, and this indicates that the polynuclear copper cluster and isolated copper cation are not active and selective for the direct oxidation of methane to methanol. In summary, silicon-aluminum ratio, copper content, and sample preparation methods strongly influence the formation of active copper cluster in mordenite, and aqueous ion exchange is a promising method to prepare copper exchange zeolite because of the well dispersion of copper in zeolite, and it is likely that isolated copper cation and polynuclear copper cluster are not active and selective for the direct oxidation of methane to methanol. And our results suggest the following possible reaction mechanism, as you can see here. Thank you.